Otakon is a Japanese anime convention that's held every year in downtown Baltimore. I've been going for the past 6 years. I don't watch much anime anymore, so I treat it as a vacation with my friends and a chance to look at all of the costumes and get some drawings done. This year I drew a pretty diverse group of people. Here are 3 of them. Conventions have a pretty high energy level during the daytime. I'd say the median age of con-goers is about 17 or 18, so it's a place where a lot of young people are more or less free to be very loud and obnoxious if that's what they want to do, and it happens often. Things are a bit different as you get closer to midnight. It's a lot less packed. People usually have less energy and wander around the convention center quietly. I sat down and sketched a cosplayer who I found sitting during one of these quiet periods. She was cosplaying a character from Attack on Titan, which I still haven't caught up on. Her costume was extravagant and well made. She wore the character's uniform and had handcrafted a complex replica of the machine that the character uses to move around. She had been going to cons since she was 12, and was now a freshman in college studying chemistry. She told me that although she's very shy in her normal life, she behaves very differently when she's at cons, and really enjoys being the center of attention when she's in a costume that she's made. I asked whether or not cosplaying improved her interactions with people outside of cons, and she said that it helped immensely. She claimed that she's now better able to speak her mind and express herself vocally, although she still enjoys being on the internet and prefers to type in order to communicate. As if to contradict my previous statement on the quiet nature of cons late at night, a loud group of about 30 people walked past us singing 90s pop songs. A shirtless teenage boy in front of the group walked over and begged us to join them. We declined, and the group moved on. Shinichiro Watanabe is an anime filmmaker, and has directed 2 of my favorite animes, Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. He was at Otakon to do a few Q&As, promote his new project, and to film Yoko Kanno's musical performance that Sunday. During his panel, the host would ask a question in English. Then, Watanabe's translator would lean over and whisper to him. Watanabe would answer in Japanese, and the translator would repeat it in English. I thought it was strange and interesting to see a discussion put through so many filters before it reached the target audience. Every time one of Watanabe's projects were mentioned, he'd get a couple of claps from the crowd, or some sort of exclamation. He spent most of the panel talking about how he came to work on his more famous projects, like Cowboy Bebop. The show came about after Bandai asked him to create an anime that would help them sell spaceship toys. They didn't care what the anime was about, so long as it was in space and there were cool spaceships in it. I do remember the spaceships being very distinct and well designed on Bebop. I can still draw them from memory. When the panel was opened up to questions from the audience, about 50 people got up and ran to the microphone. Some of the questions weren't really questions. They were fans expressing gratitude for him making Bebop and Champloo. One person asked an interesting question about whether or not he had advice for filmmakers. Watanabe replied that it's important to broaden one's horizons. He said that he was very much influenced by Western film from the 60s and 70s, and books that had nothing to do with Japan or animation in any way. He added that if a person only watches and consumes anime, their work is likely to seem like every other anime and derivative. After the 5th question that was answered, the Q&A was closed and 45 askers stumbled back to their seats. He announced a new anime he's working on called Space Dandy. It's sci-fi humor, and it's about a bounty hunter hunting aliens and traveling the galaxy to find adventures. The concept art and trailer that they showed looks incredibly detailed and colorful, and I can't wait to see it. A friend and I went to walk around the con around midnight on Saturday. It was hot and humid outside, and the convention center was now surrounded by more ravers than cosplayers. A lot of them seemed tired, but not quite willing to go back to their hotels yet. I stopped and talked to a girl who was wearing a big brown wig, black rubber gloves, and a Captain Hammer shirt. She was in her early 30s and visiting from Pennsylvania. She asked to see my sketchbook. I handed it over, and she flipped through it without saying anything. She told me that she used to draw before she lost her vision. I asked her to define vision, and after a long and thoughtful pause, she told me that she had recently lost her passion in doing anything. She then told me that she never got married because she was far too selfish, and that she would probably never have kids for the same reason.